how much money do you think that the label made off this one single?
Woo! If I burnt through 20 M's, then you could imagine what the label made.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah, we got to spend hammer numbers.
And this is independent.
I mean, yeah, between touring shows and everything, that shit was coming fast in all different directions. In a few years, not being responsible, that shit gone. Between a couple investments and all that type of shit also, but yeah, no regrets though. Still pissed off about a couple of them, but no regrets.
Did you like working with Koch?
I like working with anybody who's going to be fair and pay and pay right. I never received $1 from Koch besides advance money, and I ended up finding out that I was in a crazy deal. But me being so young and moving so fast, that it didn't sink into me at the time that I need to pay more attention to the actual business that I'm doing instead of worrying about being the artist that I wanted to become. But I need to become that artist so I could get the business. And right now I'm trying to figure out the matrix of how I could get all my masters back and all that. But
See, okay, so even though you were signed as an independent artist, you still didn't get your masters. That's crazy.
Yeah, because I wasn't signed as an independent artist. That was the whole thing. We thought we were signing as indie. It's just that Koch was an independent record label, meaning they were a real record label. You heard, and they was giving out people real record deals, but they had the power to distribute real records like a real label, but they wasn't as big as a Def Jam or as big as Atlantic. So they were naming those independent labels because they were pushing our records pretty much on their own merit. We took it as we were independent. We wasn't. But we was getting so much money, it didn't matter. You heard? It looked good. But when you look back at it in real time, shit was all fool's gold.
Damn. Wow. Damn.
Not the damn. It's a dirty game, right? And that ain't no nobody but me. You know, this is an era. I'm from an era where they say the game is to be sold, not told. So they appease you with money before they tell you what you need to know to make some money. And I got caught up in that matrix. As smart as I am, I wasn't that smart, but you can't go in the surgery room and think you're gonna perform a surgery if you've never even been to medical school. You know what I mean? So besides us being artists and talented, us being smart had nothing to do with not knowing the business that we knew nothing about. And at that point, people take full advantage of you because that was where the game was at that time. And they still do it now and shit like that. But artists have figured out the loop to really be independent. So it's a little bit harder for a lot of these labels to take as much advantage as they once did and back in the day. You know what I mean? So for me to still be here to fix all of my things and still be relevant and still put out music and still be able to make money off my music is a beautiful thing, because there's tons and tons of artists that didn't make it this far to be able to figure out the situation from being in the Stone Age and putting music out. You heard? Like, now you can go back retroactive and collect so much money from things that were done to you back in the days. You know what I mean? Because of the way everything is so digital and the way that it's kind of dope, but so many people won't get ain't here for that. You know what I mean? And God bless them. But I'm here and I'm gonna get mine. So I'm coming back for everything that's old. Retroactive.
Nobody gave you a heads up? You had all these friends in the industry and everything, and nobody was like, let me look over your contract.
I'm not one to talk about my business. You sign a contract, it's not, you ain't gonna be running around talking. I'm not thinking about it. I'm just thinking about the money I was making at that time. I'm getting money. I'm getting advances. I'm getting money. I signed a dope contract. I thought it was a dope contract. Yeah, I wish people that was in my corner would let me know exactly what we was doing, but that's a whole nother story. I ain't want to talk about that shit. I made it through the storm, you heard? And at that time when I signed that contract, I was content with signing that contract because I knew what I needed to do to keep going forward.
You know, one of the things that I seen when doing some research, man, is that you had the opportunity to sign J. Cole and Drake?
Yeah. Well, Drake went through Adam at Koch. called me one day, sent me a picture of Drake, let me hear his music. The music was phenomenal, but the picture was crazy. I'm like, what are we gonna do with it? This is the time I'm heavy gangbanging, and we got the city going crazy, but the records was crazy. So that was that. He said, all right, I guess you're right. The next year, I think I heard him on the Wayne mixtape, and I almost fell out. He went so crazy on Little Wayne mixtape. I'm like, oh my God. And then J. Cole, he sat in my studio while I made every night damn near, while I made the whole Pray for Rain album. He sat there and he rapped every night too. And I'm like, damn, bro, like, you rapping, but you sound like Drake, and you man light skin. This is how I'm thinking, bro. So twisted and caught up in everything that I'm doing, and not seeing, being a businessman and being a real A&R and shit like that. Just only worried about things that I like and things that I think I can push, and I'm not seeing a bigger picture. Like, and I'm telling these they nice as shit. I'm like, duh. And looking back, like, you telling them they nice. Like, what was wrong with you? But I was so caught up in what I was doing, it didn't fit the picture of how I was moving. We was mobbing, you know what I mean? So, but maybe it happened for a reason. Look how big these became. You heard? Maybe I couldn't bring them to where they was gonna go. You should. God don't lie and time don't lie. You dig? So I tip my hat to them. You dig? I got to have that. I got those moments in my life where I can talk about. And there's a lot of other ones, but those are precious moments for me. Like people, and those are truthful moments. They got to remember forever too. Whenever I bring it up, whether it means something to them, like it means to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, damn, those are huge talents, man. Is there anybody else that you could have signed that you didn't, or you passed up on?
There's plenty of people, but I'm tired. I don't feel like talking about all that. The Weeknd, I could have signed the Weeknd.
No shit.
100%.
Damn.
I could have signed the Weeknd in Canada. Shouts to Cash and the whole EXO family, Sal and all of them. The day that Stax had died, I had to go to Canada. It was one of the saddest days of my life. And Cash gave me a CD with a kid named The Weeknd on it. I never listened to it out. I won't say I threw it out, but I just never listened to it. And at that time, Cash was like a promoter out there doing his thing into the music industry. You remember, this pre-internet and all that and shit like that. And we laugh about that all the time right now, but he do know that day was a crazy day for me. You know what I mean? And once again, maybe that was too early for Weeknd. Remember, what year Stax died? 04, 05? Like, what year Stax died? Nah, it was Ballin. It was Ballin. It was like 07 or 08.
2007.
Shouts to Stax, man. Incredible talent, man. Incredible talent. But yeah, so that was 07. And I kept back to back. It was like Stax passes and my best friend Holly passed. It just was so much that summer, just from the life we was living. It's just crazy, man. But yeah, and my mind was somewhere else, and how the record labels push you when you're in the midst of being hot. Like, they don't have no feelings towards anything you got going on in your life. So, of course, they pushing you to go to Canada. That's you know what I mean? And my mind wasn't there. And I missed that opportunity to sign The Weeknd, but people would have probably never knew him as The Weeknd. And what year did we start hearing about The Weeknd? If that was 07, when did you start hearing about The Weeknd? 10 years later, maybe? 2017, 2018, something like that?
Something like that.
So look at that. Look at that. That might have been too early for him to reach the stardom, and just he's one of the biggest artists we ever seen in artist history. He's like Drake, he's like Michael Jackson. He's like, these artists are in the top of their realm. You heard? But I got great stories of me being infused somewhere in their history. And that's dope.
What's up? This is Cam Capone. We got more content like this coming soon, so hit that like button, subscribe, and stay locked in to Cam Capone News.